Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world. Just in the news now is something that many of you might have been waiting for. Some of you might be fed up by now about the tobacco cases that have been happening around the country. But here we have something in now. The court agrees to hear the bid by Tobacco Group for leave to appeal ruling that kept cigarettes banned. The High Court in Pretoria will next week hear an application by FITA, the Fair Trade Independent Tobacco Association, for leave to appeal a ruling that kept cigarettes banned. And I quote, "We've just received confirmation from the Gauteng Division of the High Court in Pretoria that our application for leave to appeal the ruling of 26th of June 2020 dismissing our cigarette ban challenge will be heard on the 15th of July. Okay, so that's not too far from now, said Sinan Mnguni, chairperson of FITA, in a WhatsApp message to Fin24 on Thursday. Cigarettes have been banned since the start of the lockdown in late March. FITA's court challenge to have the ban overturned was dismissed with cost in late June, and I've covered that extensively. FITA had in early July submitted an application for leave to appeal the initial ruling that kept tobacco products banned, arguing the court made a number of errors in its reading of the Disaster Management Act, among other points. Now, they wouldn't have been granted the leave to appeal if they didn't have a reasonable chance of success, just based on the court's understanding of the Disaster Management Act. So this is based on a technicality, and it could make a difference in the actual outcome. The state has defended its ban on the sale of cigarettes as necessary for health reasons amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I've covered at length that FITA used the wrong argument to begin with. They argued that cigarettes is an essential item because people are addicted to it and therefore it needs to be seen as essential, which I said at the time was the wrong angle of attack. They should have used the Bill of Rights and people's constitutional rights to exercise their freedom to do something when there is no proof that cigarettes actually caused an increase in the probability of developing the COVID-19 disease. Last month, the same court dismissed FITA's initial challenge to overturn the ban on the sale of tobacco and cigarettes. These have been banned since the start of the lockdown in late March. Cigarette companies have argued that the ban led to hundreds of millions of rands in lost sales, while contributing to the growth of an illicit tobacco market. Now, those aren't arguments that you can use in court when the government is arguing that people that smoke tobacco would actually put an extra burden on the healthcare system. And this is basically their premise that they used. So the only counter that you have for that is that people have the freedom of choice, and that the burden of proof is on government to prove that smoking cigarettes will actually make this worse. And this is not what FITA did. It's almost like they sabotaged their own case. In its application for leave to appeal, FITA argues that the court made a number of errors in its reading of the Disaster Management Act, among other points. And that's basically where the article ends. I'll put a link to this article in the description below this video. I told you that I'll keep you updated with regards to all the developments within these court cases. Now, the fact that this leave to appeal has been granted means that with regards to the Disaster Management Act and how the court read this, that there was probably something wrong with their understanding. Otherwise, they wouldn't grant this leave to appeal. How this would change the original judgment, no one can say at this stage. All I can say is that FITA, the way they handled this court case, was substandard. It doesn't seem like they were actually really interested in winning this case, because the angle of attack would have been completely different. And I don't actually understand why they went about things the way that they did. But nonetheless, news on the ban on tobacco, according to me at this stage, well, not just according to me, according to the Gauteng High Court, where Judge Norman Davis found that the certain parts of the regulations with regards to level 3 and 4 lockdown is unconstitutional. That has remained. That includes the ban on cigarettes. So it's not illegal anymore for shops to sell cigarettes. It would not be a criminal act. It would still be against the regulations, and government had 10 days to amend those regulations. That will be running out soon by the end of this week, and I'll keep you updated with regards to what government's response is going to be to this, because at this stage we don't know what they're actually planning or what they are actually going to do with regards to that. I expected on the 1st of July for the sale of cigarettes to continue within shops, and it's certainly not illegal for shops to do that, and I would encourage you to put pressure on the shops to sell cigarettes to you. And if they ask ridiculous prices, you can tell the shop, sorry, I'm not going to buy from you, I'm going to buy from someone else. But this is the basic situation that we're in at this stage. At least this is FITA winning their leave to appeal the court ruling, and it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Till the next video.